eviction from paradise, understanding the deeper currents of your own suffering, please consider subscribing to this channel as we embark on a journey to uncover the hidden layers of our spiritual heritage together. Imagine a creation so luminous that the very air hummed with the frequency of divine intent. Adam and Eve were not merely inhabitants of a garden, they were the guardians of a sacred threshold. It was an invitation to witness the limits of existence. Why would the Creator place a stumbling block in the path of His most beloved creations? The mystery lies not in the tree itself, but in the nature of the choice that was set before them. Repeating across generations, through every heart that has ever felt the sting of betrayal or the ache of loneliness, Adam and Eve were the first to experience the shattering of an eternal connection, a trauma that echoed down the corridors of time, a garden that had suddenly become foreign. They looked at each other and for the first time saw not just a companion, but a vulnerability. They saw their own mortality and vulnerability reflected in the eyes of the other. This is the root of every human insecurity. Yet there is a hidden perspective that suggests it was a necessary crucible for a greater revelation. If we were never allowed to experience the darkness, would we ever truly cherish the dawn? This is where the tension of the divine plan becomes almost unbearable to contemplate. But they are also the very terrain upon which the bridge back to God is being built. Every tear shed is a drop of water in an ocean of longing that is meant to lead us back to the source. Consider the life of a man named Silas, who lived in a small, arid village centuries ago. Who honored the Creator would be subjected to such suffering. He felt the weight of the fall in his own bones, believing that his brokenness was a punishment for his own inadequacies. He stopped trying to reconcile his suffering with his theology and simply entered the quiet. In that stillness, he realized that his obsession with his own pain had become a barrier, but the beginning of a long return. He began to see that his pain was a chisel, sculpting his spirit into a shape that could finally contain a deeper, more resilient peace. This changed everything for Silas. The sense that we are incomplete is actually the magnetic pull of God drawing us back toward Himself. The Creator knew that for us to be truly free, we had to be allowed to fall. And for us to be truly redeemed, we had to be allowed to rise. This is the alchemy of the soul, all while the infinite grace of the divine is trying to pull us into a wider, more expansive reality. There is a moment in the accounts of old where the veil is momentarily lifted, and we see the pattern of the divine intervention. He was bridging the gap that began with the first shame. He came to show us that the gates were not barred by a vengeful judge, but by our own inability to believe that we are worthy of return. Think of the weight of that. We often think of the sacrifice as a transaction, something cold and legalistic, but look closer at the emotion behind it. It was the ultimate act of identification. The Creator did not just watch from above while humanity struggled in the dust. He descended into the dust. He had to, but because He wanted to be the first one to walk the path back home. He mapped the way so that no one, no matter how lost or how far from grace they felt, would have to walk the journey alone. This is where the mystery deepens. We look at the timeline of our lives, which is a mere blink in the eye of eternity, and we try to judge the entire tapestry based on a single frayed thread. In the middle of the ascent, it is a slow, arduous process, and it requires the very thing we are most reluctant to give: surrender. Think of the moments in your life where you felt completely stripped of control. Never again. But did you notice what happened when you finally stopped clawing for control? When you let go of your demands for how things should be, there was a space created. It was a small, holy space, and in that space there was usually a whisper, a nudge, a sudden clarity that wasn't there before. Held, even when you feel like you are falling. The secret that the Bible hides, the one that changes everything, is that your life is not a series of unfortunate accidents. Your life is a purposeful trajectory toward an encounter with truth. By a mistake, you are a child of the divine, currently undergoing a refinement. The pain is not the reality, the restoration is the reality. The fall was the question. The life and sacrifice of Jesus is the answer. And your life, right now, is the evidence of that answer being lived out in real time. What is the difference between them? It is the acceptance of the path of restoration. Those who live in the mystery, those who embrace the reality that they are being led through the fire toward a greater gold. They are the ones who reflect the light of the Creator more clearly. Victims of the fall. They are participants in the redemption. As we reach the conclusion of this reflection, I want you to sit with this thought. Your existence is not a mistake. Ask who we are and where we belong. If you have felt the weight of your own fall, if you have felt the distance between your present reality and the peace you desire, know that you are in the perfect position to be found. Certain level of success or fix all our internal problems before we can deserve the blessing of the Creator. But the story of the fall and the story of the cross tell us the exact opposite. It is a simple act, yet it is the most difficult thing a human being can do. It requires admitting that we cannot save ourselves and that the one who created us is the only one who can put us back together. To exploring these deep, sometimes difficult, always vital truths together. There is so much more to uncover about the purpose behind our trials and the beauty hidden within our struggles. Isolation. And there is a profound strength to be found in walking this path with others who are also seeking the light. Let us close by acknowledging the mystery that remains. We may never have all the answers to why the world is the way it is, or why we must endure the specific trials that come our way. Eternal call of God to His children. May you walk through this day with a new sense of purpose, knowing that you are being refined, you are being guided, and you are being brought home. Never forget that you are an essential part of the most magnificent story ever told. Your struggle is not the end of your purpose, but the beginning of your greatest testimony. Embrace the mystery, for it is in the shadows that the most brilliant light is often found. The promise, and let the rest of the world fall away. This is your life, your story, and your invitation to return to the divine. Stay tuned, stay faithful, and keep seeking the truth that sets the spirit free.